A forensic video analyst sees footage differently than other people. Not better, differently. Where most people see the event, the analyst sees the recording of the event, the seam where two clips were joined, the shadow that fell at the wrong angle for the claimed time of day, the slight hesitation before impact, 3 frames of pre-knowledge that means the footage was staged. Most people watch what a camera was pointed at. An analyst watches the camera. Mara Reyes was good at this. Better than good. She had been doing contract work long enough that it had become a habit of perception, a permanent second layer of attention that ran beneath ordinary looking. She watched traffic camera footage and saw not the accident, but the edit. She watched security footage and noticed not the intruder, but the light source that didn't match the claimed hour. She noticed things. That was her job. It became something else. The first file came through a contact at a media forensics firm in mid-October. A streamer named Nolan Vane, 26 years old, gaming content mostly, the comfortable kind, low stakes, background noise for people who didn't want to be alone at night. He had around 40,000 subscribers. Enough to matter to him, not enough to matter to anyone else. On the night of October 14th, during a routine live stream, his teeth began to fall out. Not a prop, not a stunt. The stream had been running for 2 hours before anything happened. There was no setup, no break in continuity, no edit. His chat noticed before he did, the comments shifting from game reactions to something quieter, more uncertain. Then he touched his face, and he understood. It took 11 minutes. The stream ran the entire time. 400,000 people watched the clip in the following 48 hours. The consensus? Elaborate hoax, mental health crisis, something that made sense, because the alternative didn't. Mara watched it once, made her preliminary notes, flagged it as almost certainly staged. Then she opened the raw file and found the frames. She noted them, set them aside, made herself another coffee she wouldn't finish, pulled up her calendar to check what was on tomorrow. She had no reason to think about dreams. She never did, at first. Nobody does. You know the feeling. Most people do. Running and the ground not closing. The thing behind you that doesn't have to hurry. The room where the test is waiting, and you have not studied for anything, and the fluorescent lights are too bright, and the booklet is already open on the desk, and the first question is something you were never taught. You wake up, heart loud, room dark, and you think, just a dream. Mara Reyes had that thought once, before she understood what the footage contained. Before she understood what she was looking at wasn't a pattern in the data. It was a pattern in us.
Okay, I've watched this 4 times now. Chat, tell me this is prosthetics. Tell me this is... Okay, the thing is, if you slow it down at the part around the 9-minute mark, his hands are shaking like that the whole time, right? Like that's not a bit. That's not somebody doing a bit. I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking at.
I'm gonna be real with you guys. I covered a lot of fake stuff, and this doesn't ping for me the way fake stuff pings. Like, the tells are different. When it's prosthetics, you get this. There's a moment where the person knows something is about to happen, and they prep for it. Their body braces. He doesn't do that. He finds out at the same time we do. And chat, you see his chat? Before he even reacts? His chat saw it first. Someone typed it like 40 seconds before he noticed. And that person hasn't posted since. Just going to put that out there.
I know everyone's going hoax on this. And maybe. But I've been a nurse. I've been a nurse for 6 years. I do nights. I've seen things go wrong with the human body in ways that don't look like TV. And I'm not saying I know what happened. I'm saying the reaction is consistent. The confusion, the way he keeps touching his face like he's checking, like he's asking his own body what it's doing. I've seen that face before. That's not performance. That's a person finding out.
Okay, I went to bed and I don't want to say. Chat, I had a dream about teeth. I'm not kidding. I've had the teeth dream before, like everyone has, but this one I was watching myself on a screen. And it was slow. Everything was moving too slow. I woke up and I still had the video open on my second monitor. I don't remember leaving it open. I'm just going to close that tab.
Video forensics is a discipline of patience. You learn to see past the surface of an image, past what the camera was pointed at, and into the structure of how the file was made. Compression artifacts, frame rate anomalies, metadata inconsistencies, the places where the recording tells you something the recording didn't mean to say. Every camera records time differently. A phone captures at 30 frames per second, a security camera at 15, a broadcast at 24. When footage has been altered, cut, looped, synthesized, the seams show in the temporal data. Time leaves marks when you interrupt it. What Mara found in Nolan Vane's stream was not an edit. It was something she had no category for. Buried inside the file, not at the cut points, not at the transition moments, but woven throughout the entire stream from the moment he sat down, were recurring clusters of corrupted frames. Brief, irregular, easy to dismiss as encoding errors, except they weren't irregular. They were locked. Every cluster contained exactly 5 frames per second of true data surrounded by noise. Not 15, not 30, 5. She had analysed slow-motion footage before. High-speed cameras played back at reduced rate, that eerie, stretched quality that makes ordinary motion look heavy and deliberate, like everything is moving through something thicker than air. This was not that. This was not slowed footage. This was footage that seemed to understand, at the level of its own structure, that 5 frames per second was the correct speed. As though the camera had agreed to something, as though the camera had been asked. She had a word for it in her notes. She crossed it out, wrote it again, left it. The word was intentional. She marked it as anomalous, set it aside. She did not sleep well that night. She didn't connect the two things. People don't at first. She was not different from other people in this, only in how quickly, once the connection became unavoidable, she followed it. The second file arrived 3 days later. A breach at Bellwether University. Not ransomware, not exfiltration. Something more surgical, more personal. It had targeted students at a specific moment in the academic calendar. The withdrawal deadline had passed 2 weeks prior. Finals were 3 weeks out. The students affected were juniors and seniors, deep into programs where every remaining required course was load-bearing. The kind of classes where the registrar will tell you very politely that there is simply no other path through. Someone had gone in overnight and re-enrolled them, not in different sections of their real courses, in courses they had never attended, never read for, courses with a final examination already on the calendar and a grade record in the system, populated with zeros, with absences, with a participation grade of nothing. The grade history went back 14 weeks, to the first week of the semester. It was not a glitch that looked obviously wrong. It was not a placeholder. It was a complete record, internally consistent, every field populated. It had the texture of something that had been there the entire time and simply not been noticed. And each of those students had gone to bed the night before feeling normal. Tired, maybe, stressed about the semester, but nothing specific, nothing they could name. They woke up in the morning carrying something they couldn't place, the residue of a feeling, a hallway, fluorescent lights, an examination booklet in their hands, and the certain crushing knowledge that they had not studied for something that was going to cost them everything. They wrote it off. End of semester stress, the kind of dream that visits you when you're already stretched thin. Then they opened their student portals. Mara was brought in to analyse the recovered server logs and the ambient footage, security cameras, dormitory hallways, a student's phone that had been recording accidentally through the night. She found the 5-frame clusters again. In the security footage, in the dormitory hallways, in the phone recording that had been running in a dark room while its owner slept. The clusters were not incidental. They were present in every piece of footage associated with every affected student. Before the breach, the night before, while they were sleeping, while, presumably, they were dreaming. Mara sat with the sequence for a long time. The footage came first. The dream came during. The portal confirmed it in the morning. In that order, always in that order. The nightmare arrived before there was anything to be afraid of. And then the world caught up. Okay, Chapter 7. We're doing Chapter 7. Chat, I know it's late, but I actually feel good about this one, so we're powering through. Somebody in chat said they're stress dreaming about finals already, and honestly, same. I had the classic one last night. You know the one. Exam room, fluorescent lights. You look down and you don't know anything on the page. I woke up at like 6 in the morning, just convinced I'd forgotten something. But I checked my calendar, everything's fine. It was just a dream. Oh, I got the systems office email. Did anyone else get the systems office email? It says to verify my enrollment record. Probably just routine. Let me just... Hang on, let me pull up the portal. That's weird. I have a class in here I don't recognize. Biostatistics 2. I took biostatistics. I took it sophomore year. This is a different section. Chat, can you see my screen? Does that look right to you? I'm refreshing. It's still there. It has my student ID. It has my name. I don't know this course number. I don't know this professor. Let me look at there's a midterm grade. 47. I have a 47 on a midterm for a class I've never walked into that room. Chat, someone is saying it's a glitch, and I hope so. I really hope so. But the attendance record, it goes back to September. Every week. Present, present, absent, 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 all the way back to the first week of classes. Like I was there. And then I stopped going. What? No. Why would I? I'm searching my account. There's a post. October 3rd. It says, survived the biostats midterm. Barely. I didn't write that. I don't know who that is. I've never seen that username before. Chat, I'm going to put in a ticket. The email said to put in a ticket. It said 3 to 5 business days. Finals are in 22 days. I'm going to end the stream. I'm sorry. I need to make some calls. I'll be back I'll be back. There is something particular about recurring nightmares. Not the ones that vary, not the pursuit dreams where the monster changes shape, where the house rearranges itself. The ones that don't change. The ones that are so architecturally consistent that you could draw the floor plan. Most people have one. The hallway with the lights, the room where the test is waiting, the phone that won't dial, the door you can't open fast enough. Running, and the thing behind you doesn't hurry because it already knows. Mara had always assumed these were the brain's private loops, the same circuit firing the same signal, an internal echo, sealed, yours. She was no longer sure of that. She built a case file, kept it offline, physical folders, printed frames, handwritten notes. Something about the nature of what she was tracking made her reluctant to put it anywhere a network could reach. What struck her about the bellwether breach was not the technical execution, it was the selection. The system hadn't touched freshmen, hadn't touched students who could still withdraw or petition for a late drop or substitute an equivalent course. It had found the ones for whom the registration change was genuinely, structurally, catastrophic. The student in her final semester of a 5-year pharmacy program. The pre-law junior, 12 credits from completion. The mathematics major who needed differential equations to graduate in May, who now, according to the registrar's system, had never attended a single lecture. Someone had done the research, had read the degree audits, checked the academic calendars, verified the withdrawal deadlines. This was not a broad intrusion. This was targeted. Not in the way a hacker targets a system, in the way a surgeon targets a nerve. Each of them had woken that morning carrying the same residue, the hallway, the fluorescent lights, the examination booklet, before they had opened any portal, before they had any reason to know. The dream had come first, and then the portal had confirmed it. Mara sat with that sequence for a long time. The structure was built first, the enrollment record, the grade already posted, the withdrawal window already closed, the course already on the final examination calendar. The architecture of the trap, completed in the system before the dreamer ever opened their eyes. Only then did the dream arrive, not to plant the fear, to seal it, to give the student a floor to stand on, a hallway to walk, an examination booklet already in their hands, so that when they woke and checked and found the record waiting, some part of them, below the level of conscious thought, had already been there. The system insisted it had always been true. The student had only the certainty of their own experience, which, under enough pressure, is the first thing to go. She found a citation in a recovered document from the breach, a paper she couldn't locate in any open database. Hypnagogic frequency modulation and the architectural persistence of shared oniric space. The author, Dr. Elias Winter. Last institutional affiliation, a sleep research program that had been quietly defunded and its records sealed. She noted it, set it beside the others, continued. That night she dreamed about a hallway, fluorescent lights, an examination booklet on the floor in a small puddle of water. She hadn't studied for anything. She didn't remember enrolling. She reached for her phone. The room was dark, and the phone was on the nightstand, and she reached, and her arm moved wrong. Not wrong in the way a dreaming arm moves, wrong in the way footage moves when the frame rate drops. One position, then the next position, without the motion between. Like her hand had skipped frames. She woke fully, sat up, checked her hand. It was fine. It moved correctly. She was certain she had been awake when it happened. She was not entirely certain. Her laptop was open. She had no memory of opening it. On the screen, a video file. No file name, no folder. Timestamp 3:34 a.m. She pressed play.
Okay, so someone in my Discord sent me this, and I don't know where it's from. I can't find an origin. It looks old. Like VHS transferred to digital old. There's a man sitting at a table, and he's talking to the camera, but there's something about the way he's doing it. Like he's not making content. Like he's making a record because he thinks nobody is going to believe him later. I've watched a lot of confessional stuff, parasocial stuff, genuine mental health crisis stuff. I can usually clock which one it is. I can't clock this. Chat, I'm going to play it, but I want you to watch his eyes. Specifically at the end. Watch where he looks.
Someone shared that video with me, and I watched it, and I went to bed, and I don't know how to describe it. I was in a room, a concrete room, and there was a light overhead and a table, and I just knew something was in the room with me that I couldn't see. And I couldn't leave. Not because anything was blocking me, because somehow I understood that if I left, I would lose something. The knowledge. I would lose the knowledge of I don't know what. I woke up and I still felt it, like a pressure behind my eyes. I'm going to go drink some water and I'm going to be completely fine. Don't share that video.
Chat, I have to tell you something. I don't usually do this. I watched the video. The old one. The guy at the table. And at the end, when he looks away from the camera, I paused it. I zoomed in on what he's looking at. There's a doorway in the background. You can barely see it. It's dark. And in the doorway, it looks like, I don't know what it looks like. It doesn't look like a person. It looks like the space where a person is about to be. I'm going to stop talking about this now.
If you're watching this, you found the frequency signature, which means you found the others, which means you're already inside the pattern, whether you know it or not. I want to explain what I understand before the understanding leaves me. That happens. I've watched it happen to 3 colleagues. The knowledge redistributes itself when you get too close. I'm trying to record it before that occurs. Dreams are not private. They have never been private. They emerge from a shared topology, a substrate that underlies individual consciousness the way a water table underlies individual wells. We access it separately. We always assumed we accessed it alone. We were wrong. Someone has found the doorway between frames. The 5-frame threshold is not a corruption artifact. It is a window. 5 frames per second is the rate at which human visual processing drops into hypnagogic state, the threshold between waking perception and dream architecture. He's not broadcasting nightmares. He's using the footage as a carrier signal. The viewer's own fear does the rest. He selects. He stages. The nightmare is always already yours. He is not a technician. I want to be precise about this. He does not trick people into fear. He understands fear the way a structural engineer understands load-bearing walls. He knows which fears are universal, which ones have never resolved. He walks into the shared substrate, and he finds what is already there. The hallway, the lights, the examination, the running, and he builds toward them. Precisely, architecturally, like someone who learned the blueprints of a building they were born inside. He did not invent what frightens you. He only understood it better than you do. The university operation was not a test. I want to be clear about that. It looked like a test. The precision of it, the selection criteria, the way it mapped so exactly onto existing dread. But it wasn't. That level of research, that knowledge of individual academic records, degree audits, withdrawal deadlines, That is not reconnaissance. That is fluency. He already understands what they fear. He builds the structure first. He verifies the trap. He confirms that the withdrawal window has closed, that the grade record is in place, that the examination is real and the calendar is set, and there is no exit that doesn't cost something. Only then does he send the dream, not to plant the fear, to seal it, to give it a floor, a hallway, a booklet with their handwriting in it. They wake up, they think, just anxiety, end of semester. Then they open the portal, and the portal agrees with the dream. He's already watching this room.
When you see the hallway again, don't look into the last room.
I've been getting DMs. A lot of them. People who watched the tape. And I want to be responsible about this, so I'm not going to read them out loud. But I will say, the pattern is consistent. Almost everyone who watched it and then slept, the same room. Concrete walls, fluorescent light, a table, and something in a doorway. Not the same something. Everyone describes it differently. But the room is the same. I don't know what to do with that. I'm probably not going to sleep tonight.
Chat, I have to tell you something, and I need you to not make it a thing. I paused the tape again tonight, different part this time. About 2 minutes in, when the guy is talking, I don't know why I looked at the corner of the frame. I just did. There are marks on the wall behind him. I thought they were paint at first, or water damage. They're not. They're writing. Very small. I can't read most of it, but I could make out part of one line. It says, "Whoever is watching this has already been inside the room." I'm going to go now. Good night, everyone. I'll see you when I see you.
I'm still here. I know it's late. I don't want to go to sleep. That's not something I say. I work nights, I sleep days. I've been fine with the dark for years. But I watched the tape again this afternoon and there was a moment. Maybe 40 seconds in. He's talking and his hand moves. Just slightly. And the motion, it drops frames. Just for a second, just his hand. One position, then the next. Nothing in between. Like watching someone move inside a dream. I've been thinking about it for 6 hours. I keep checking my own hands, making sure they're moving right. They are. So far they are.
By morning, she had a theory. It was a forensic analyst's theory, cautious, provisional, built from evidence rather than intuition. She had 3 other things she let herself want before she built it: a hot shower, the last of the coffee, and 5 minutes sitting by the window watching the city come back to itself. She got 2 of them. The coffee was cold when she reached for it. She didn't notice until the cup was already at her lips. She set it down, looked at it for a moment, moved on. The incidents shared three properties. First, each victim's nightmare was drawn from a specific category of universal fear. Not idiosyncratic horror, not a private monster unique to one person. The fears that belong to everyone. Falling, being unprepared, running without moving, being seen in a room you thought was private. Second, the 5-frame signature appeared in every piece of footage associated with every incident, including footage not publicly accessible, including footage the victims themselves had never seen. Third, the victims did not choose the footage. The footage found them. She had kept the case file physical, had not streamed anything, had not watched the clips on network devices, had not opened the university files on a connected machine, had been, she believed, careful. The video had appeared on her laptop anyway, while she slept. And the voicemail had arrived from a number she recognized as her own. 3 hours before she would make the call, it documented. She had played it twice. The breathing was hers. The specific way she held the phone too close when she was frightened. She knew that about herself. She had always known it. Whatever had sent it knew it too. Had been close enough to observe her. Had possibly been inside her own sleep. She found she was not as unsettled by this as she expected to be, which unsettled her more. Winter's working hypothesis, and she could tell from the paper's structure that it had begun as a hypothesis and hardened into certainty long before he recorded the tape, was this. The dreamer did not invent the fears. He found them, the way a naturalist finds a species, catalogued, observed, understood in their native environment. He had mapped the shared substrate, the territory that existed beneath individual sleep, and he had learned to walk in it. He had also learned something else, something Winter's paper only approached at its edges, in language that grew less precise the closer it got to the thing it was trying to say. Fear is more durable when it is also true. When the dreamer wakes and checks and finds the thing waiting. When the grade is already in the system. When the withdrawal deadline has already passed. When the portal loads and the record is there, and the system insists this has been true for months, and the student stares at it and thinks, but I would remember failing, wouldn't I? That is the room. That is the moment where the nightmare stops being a dream and starts being something you have to resolve before finals. Mara looked at the corkboard. Red string connecting dates, locations, footage timestamps. The pattern that had been building for weeks. She was good at seeing things in data that other people's eyes slid past. She noticed things. She noticed now that the geometric pattern on the corkboard, the shape the red string made when you looked at it from the right angle, was not random. It was the floor plan of a building she had never visited. She recognized it anyway. From the hallway, the fluorescent lights, the last room at the end of the corridor, the one the voicemail had told her not to look into. She had already been inside it. She did not yet know the building's name. She would find it eventually, in a grant record, a defunded program, a sealed archive somewhere in the middle of the country. She was thorough. That was the thing about Mara. She followed the data. The data would take her there. whether she chose to go or not. She thought about what Winter had said about his 3 colleagues, the knowledge redistributing itself when you get too close, about the fact that he had felt the need to record before it happened to him, about the fact that, at the end, he had not looked frightened. He had looked like a man who had already made his peace with something, who was watching it arrive, who had run out of reasons to be surprised by it. She thought about what Neve had said. He looks resigned, like he expected it, like he'd been through this before. Mara looked at her coffee cup, still where she had left it, cold. She reached for it again, a habit, muscle memory, the thing your hand does when you need something to hold. Her hand got there wrong. Not dramatically wrong, not the full-stop wrongness of a nightmare. 5 frames per second wrong. One position, then the next. The cup in her hand, with nothing continuous in between. She looked at her hand, looked at the cup, looked back at her hand. She did not check the corners. She already knew what she would find in them.